So I'm Jodi Wellman, and when is now means time is ticking. So let's get down to the business of living like we mean it.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's another episode of When Is Now. I'm Capella, and today we have Jodi Wellman. Jodi Wellman is a friend from Penn, and she has a TEDx talk that was published in 2022. So there's over 15,000 TEDx talks in 2022, and they ranked the top 100 most watched TEDx talks, and hers was ranked number 14. This is brand new. We're super excited that we got her as a guest. The name of her TEDx is 4,000 Mondays. And basically she talks about in a normal average lifespan of a human being, I think it's like 79 to 82, we get approximately 4,000 Mondays. And so she is really into understanding how many Mondays you have left and how to use them to the fullest. She is someone who wants you to think about death, and specifically your death. And I have to be honest, this whole idea makes me a little squirmish, but Jodi wants us to see opportunity in it. And she actually wants us to use the reality of our death as fuel for getting us to live in the now. So if you're like lots of others out there, feeling like life is passing you by and your best years are behind you, get ready to shift that perspective, because for this conversation, it's about death, and this episode is full of life, and I think you will be motivated by it. We talk about what it means to be meaningfully bored and what you can do about that, what the best kept secret for living a more zesty life. I love that word, zesty. We talk about living with intention and attention, which anybody who has listened to any of the other episodes, you know that's like my thing. We talk about how, well, Jodi puts it, living life with a broadened vitality and depth and meaning. And we talk about how finding her mom's unpublished writings inspired her in her mission to help others to live out their dreams. It's heavy, and it's very obvious when I start to get squirmish, but I continuously try to reframe and understand that there's nothing we can do about this. We are temporary, that's a fact. So how do we live out these days that we have left with the most vitality? And I hope you get that out of this conversation, so enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate it. I'm Capella, and today we have Jodi Wellman. All right, so I have a lot of things to say about Jodi. I think the most important that everybody needs to know is she is an emoji user, much like me. I can go back to her emails, and we are full of emotion emojis. And I think I even saw like a Kermit sitting on a desk, like saying, yay, from one of her emails. So I highly respect this behavior, and anyone who uses a lot of emojis is okay with me. Jodi, welcome.
Thank you, Capella. It's so good to be here. I think emojis was actually how we originally bonded. I recall that.
Yes. Yeah. I really respect anybody in the academic world that uses emojis. We will get into that, how you and I met. But first, it's sort of a tradition that I want you to tell our audience who you are and your interpretation of when is now.
Okay, great. Here goes. So I'm Jodi Wellman, and when is now means time is ticking. So let's get down to the business of living like we mean it.
Oh, I like that. There's a lot of different interpretations of when is now. Do you know that? Like, or is that like the only thing you think of?
Well, I mean, I've heard a couple of your other guests, so I get that, and I get that there are multiple perspectives. But for me, it all comes down to that. I didn't even have to blink or think twice when I knew you were going to ask me that. That's just it. When is now is like, let's get on with it.
I agree. So Jodi is a founder and has a TED Talk of, should we say, an organization, a theory, what?
Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds good. A philosophy, a way of life. All that sounds good.
I love it. And it's called 4,000 Mondays. And what this means, I think, you correct me if I'm wrong, Jodi, this means like the average lifespan, right, is whatever, I don't know, 82 years old or something, I'm guessing. And you're saying within 82 years, you have 4,000 Mondays.
You've nailed it. You totally passed the 4,000 Mondays test. Yep.
Really? 82?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, women roughly live to an average of 83, men 78, not so lucky. So if you average it out, roughly, if we're putting it all together as humans, we get roughly 4,000 weeks. And I go Mondays because Mondays are visceral. We have feelings about Mondays. And that's where I want us to kind of, let's like wake up to the fact that, like I said earlier, our time is ticking and we could maybe be a little more intentional with how we spend our time.
Girl. I mean, like when I saw your TED Talk and then I did my math, girl, like it's so sobering. All right. So give us a spiel. Tell us what we need to know.
Okay. Everything we need to know. I mean, you've set the stage so well. If we know we get 4,000 weeks roughly, then why don't we just get a little like granular with it and say, well, how much time have I used up? And actually, to be honest, I care less about that. That's dead and gone. Let's talk about, well, like what's to come? So how many Mondays do I have left to go to do all these amazing, hopefully great things that I would like to fantasize about? And so I know for me, it's the latest count as of this week was 1,890 Mondays left to go. If I'm lucky, because believe me, like I get it. Things could happen tomorrow, but I could also live way longer. But the point still remains. When you tap into the fact that we are finite, and clearly like this is not going to be like breaking news for any of your listeners, right? Like we're all very clear. We're startlingly aware of the fact that we are totally temporary. But when we get really cognizant about it, and when we do the math, there's this thing called temporal scarcity that comes into effect, which is that like we are valuable assets that are precious. And so when we see that our time is diminishing, it can help us actually ratchet up the value of the fact that, yeah, it's a countdown timer. So let's get serious about it, right?
What does that do when we start accounting for the Mondays in the lives of people we love? Is that too much? Is that overload?
Yeah, you're onto something. Oh, never too much for me, but I respect that most people are not as fascinatingly morbid with all this stuff. And so I would say that actually is a really good technique. And I recommend, this whole topic is about memento mori, which is, it's a way, way old Latin phrase that does translate to remember that we must die. And I say, don't just do it alone in a closet. I mean, that's way less fun than if you actually, what about having a conversation with your friends over happy hour or your family over the dinner and do the math together? And when you do that math for your loved ones, then it does help open up our eyes. So all this is based on the fact that as humans, we totally take our time for granted, don't we? We have this notion, like this sort of, it's based in a really smart psychological construct of like, if I just deny and avoid the fact that I am going to die, well, then that helps me get through every day. And so we like to push it aside. I get it. And yet we take our own lives for granted, but we also take for granted the lives of the people around us because we do just have this happy little notion that, oh, we'll get to travel to the, I don't know, to the Greek islands later, or we'll get to do this thing together later, or I'll spend all this time with you later. But when we do that math again for others and ourselves, it can help highlight that maybe there isn't going to be this sort of seemingly limitless time to do all the things we long to do.
Just for the record, I am not revealing how many Mondays I have left. I mean, I do operate within Hollywood. We don't talk like that. But I need you to tell me how I can think about this and not literally be terrified. Like with the thought of this terrifies me.
Yeah.
And not death doesn't terrify me. Death doesn't terrify me at all. The amount of time left is terrifying to me. So and because you know how they always say, oh, youth is wasted on the young, right? And no, and when you're young, you're like, oh, 40, that's like 10,000 years from now, whatever. But when you get of lessening Mondays, like how are we not to be terrified? How do we do this?
So there's this thing that happens, right? So we're talking all about waking up to the fact that, all right, countdown timer, check, supposed to be a motivator. Well, yeah, of course it is not that simple. I really do get it. So for some people, it's a rather easy mental transaction. Oh, wow, boost me. Now I'm really going to write that book because now that I see that, in fact, my Mondays are diminishing. For other people, many normal people like you, Capella, it does actually agitate. And a lot of research is clear that there's a difference between what's called mortality salience, which is just kind of gently thinking about death, or it's like when the funeral procession drives by, or you watch a movie and like most movies, someone dies, or you read in the news about some sort of latest situation, passenger dies. These are all very abstract notions of death, and they actually incite in us things that are often not that productive. And I promise I'm not going to go into too much, but if in case anybody cares, it's called terror management theory. And it does elicit some kind of unsavory kind of behavior. We double down on our worldviews, we become really stubborn and align with kind of our own cultural views, and we want to bolster our self-esteem. And these are not usually super pro-social behaviors. So your anxiety about, oh gosh, scarcity of time, that is really normal. Where we want to move from is that sort of abstract way of thinking over to concrete, which is, no, actually, like I'm going to encourage that you indulge it even more. I'm going to encourage that you do that math, but you sit there and then you calculate even further. I can see you squirming in your seat there. What does this actually mean? Think about all the things I would like to do. When might I fit that in? And what would it feel like? What would it be like? So some research even shows the more vivid you can get with even envisioning your death, and I will not have us do this here, but I just want to cite the research, that can alleviate those feelings of tension we experience, the anxiety that is normal about death. And so sometimes the encouragement is actually to go deeper into it. So don't avoid the feeling, go deeper. And that does tend to create sometimes a little bit more of a softening and that feeling that really is what we're going for, which is, I don't just want it to be shock value. This is meant to be that spark plug that does help us to live with more of a sense of urgency and motivation and intention with the time we have left. So there's a couple dabbles of research for you. Do with it what you may.
Okay, well, I need some tools. I need some tips and tricks. I need something to help me. Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, so like I said, I am not afraid of death. That does not afraid me. Okay.
Yeah.
What afraids me? No, what I'm afraid of is I don't want to say afraid. I guess when you say it gives me anxiety. But I don't know if that's the right word either, but what's unsettling, that's the word. What's unsettling to me is the amount of time. So I understand that you're saying, all right, you must settle into that amount of time because we're here like for a certain amount of time. We don't know if it's what it is, but on average, it's that.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing is be more present. Love the people around you more. Do what you want to do. Those are, I think, obvious things, but I know that your work can get a little richer than that.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what do you do every Monday? Like, do you celebrate every Monday? Like, what do you do? The master of the Mondays.
I want that to be my new title, Master of the Mondays. The next business card reprinting. Let's do that. I hear what you're clamoring for, and I get you. It's like, what do we do with this? So for me, Mondays, just to answer your question. Okay, let's be honest. I admit that Mondays can be super ish. I always say when I type to people on a Monday, I'll be like, happy Monday, not meant to be oxymoronic. And then, but I'm like, let's be honest, Fridays will always win. I'm not trying to tell the world Mondays are, I'm just trying to wake us up to the fact that they're diminishing. Okay. So I'm not going to try and pretend that they're glorious, although to be alive is glorious every Monday, of course. I try and actually spice Mondays up and have it be a special Monday night date night in the house where it really ain't fancy, but it's like, let's crack open a good bottle of wine or enjoy life in some way that recognizes that let's try and make an otherwise horrible day of the week a little bit better. But I think I have something even better, because what I think I hear you asking for is we know, because we study positive psychology, especially, there's no shortage of interventions and ways that we can, in theory, improve our lives. And I like to organize it into a bit of a framework. And so the way that I think about it is we've been talking all about length of life, 4,000, hopefully more weeks in our lives. And length is good. Hopefully we live long and strong, but I'm less concerned about that than the quality of life, right? Who cares if you live to be 120 if your life is terrible? And so I look at it looking at the width of our lives and the depth of our lives. And so the width component, if you will, is all about adding more vitality in. And it's all about the fun and the traditional way of looking at happiness and like all things pleasure and all the experiences. That's the travel and the fun stuff that lights you up and just feels super novel and engaging, right? So that's one dimension, widening your life with vitality. And then the other way to look at it is the deepening. Yeah, you got that one. And then now we've got deepening, and that has to do more with the sense of meaning and purpose. And you would know it as eudaimonic well-being rather than the hedonic, which is the widening stuff. And if we look at our lives, most people are able to stop on any given day and say, okay, how am I feeling? Like, am I feeling like, am I having enough fun? Am I having enough meaning? And conveniently, this all takes us into 4 quadrants. And this is where I like to work with people or teams. This is where I assess my own life and say, wait a minute, like, okay, there's enough meaning. I've been doing some kind of good work out there. It feels meaningful. That's good stuff. But man, am I bored? Like I need to be, I don't know, I need to like spice things up a little bit. I need to have a little more joie de vivre in my life. That could be one dimension, right? Could be opposite. Sometimes you could be out there having so much fun. You're on all these trips. You're having all the entertainment you could ever need and want, but you go home at night and you feel empty, right? Like you're kind of like life is kind of shallow and hollow. And that's a whole other kind of ball of wax. And so do you mind me even asking you for a second, like when you think of those dimensions of vitality, fun, and then meaning, the depth, where would you say you find, are you feeling extra full and amazing? Are you lacking? Where are you?
I mean, of course, my answer is going to be situational. It's going to be today, right?
Yeah.
With a little bit of yesterday and tomorrow involved. I'm good for the moment. I mean, like I'm a Gemini, so it could switch. But Devin Still, I know you know Devin Still, but Devin Still and I talked about this, and this is very real stuff. And I think it's worth mentioning that normal people go through episodic depression, right? There is going to be a time when you're not feeling super meaningful or super fun, and it's going to be 3 days, and you got to relax and chill and sit in it. But that aside, right now, I'm on top of the world, girl. Like, I'm feeling good. I am happy with this podcast. I'm happy with the schoolwork. I'm happy with my relationships. And so to me, I'm happy with what I'm outputting and what I'm inputting. So meaning I feel good right now. As far as like happiness or the hedonic stuff, like the pleasure, I'm killing the game right now. I'm feeling good, girl. Like if we're on a 2x2, I'm probably in the upper left quadrant. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for saying that, because that is, that's the astonishingly alive category that you are killing. And I love that. 'Cause, by the way, it's totally like emanating off you. I love it. And you're a minority of the world where the research I do, because I have a quiz that people complete and they identify where they're at. Less than 12% of people are finding themselves in that astonishingly alive category. And by the way, the words I use, it's so superlative, like astonishing is big.
Yes.
I'm kidding. Like, I just mean, are you anywhere plus on meaning and anywhere plus on vitality and we're good to go? Most people are not.
Really?
Does that shock you? Like it's
very
sad,
shocking
right?
to me.
Yeah. Most people are in what's called the meaningfully bored category, which is the one where they do feel like, hey, I've got meaning going on. Like, to be honest, I think a lot of people who are parenting or looking after elderly parents or are in a job that does deliver some kind of meaning, or maybe they have a good sort of sense of spirituality, connection to something bigger. Meaning's okay, but they're totally freaking bored. They're like, I just need some fun around here. And so that's where most people are sitting. The latest count on my research, this was now as of Feb 1st, so recent, 40% of people are feeling meaningfully bored. We need a little bit of pizzazz in our lives. We need some gusto and zest. So that's where most people
I'm
are
killing
sitting.
the game on zest and gusto, girl. I'm trying to tell you. World. So you said there's a quiz that people can take. Is this on your website or something? Or you just give this out during your workshops, or how does this work?
Yeah, it's definitely on the website. One of those fabulously annoying pop-ups comes up and asks you if you want to take the How Alive or Dead Are You quiz. And then you can find out whether you're in one of those 4 zones. I did build a mid zone for the middle because not everybody is very crystal clear, but most people want to up their game if they're in the mid zone anyways. But it does help identify where you're at. And I just almost like just as many people are identifying as being in what I've coined the dead zone as being astonishingly alive. And that's where there's a very faint pulse, but it's like they're kind of negative on the vitality, negative on the meaning. And again, it's day to day. It could change tomorrow. These are situational, but to find yourself there, this is the stuff that gets me super excited. And honestly, this is why I am so freaking excited to be doing the stuff I do, which is this idea that, guys, our time is running out. And I don't mean to cause an existential crisis for you, Capella. I just really don't. And yet you get the truth, right? If this number is in fact diminishing, which it is every week, then let's do get the grip and let's do prioritize. I know you get super interested in this idea about bridging the gap between intention and behavior. That's your baby, right? That whole idea. Then this is the thing about how we have these ideas about how our lives are going to be. And yet, whoa. What if your life was to call it curtains on you 12 Mondays from now? What would you regret not doing, for example? I'm really pushing you, aren't I? I'm pushing your buttons.
Yeah, no, you're freaking me out, girl, with this 12 Mondays left. But honestly, Jodi, knock on wood, if I only had 12 Mondays left, then you go speak at my service and you tell them how I was killing the game on my last 12 Mondays. Yep. Really quick, just because we'll put it in the show notes, but just in case people are listening to the podcast now and they want to look it up while we're talking, what's the website that they can take this test?
Oh, you can go to 4000mondays.com.
Oh, there you go. Very simple. 4,000 if you guys want to do this while we're talking. And how many questions on there?
Oh, it's super simple. 12, because life's short. I don't want to drag you down with a long quiz.
Give me an example of one question.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so one might be how do people describe you? That one is actually less valid in terms of let's just talk validity scales. But one of them is I drew 4 different tombstones, which saying would most encapsulate you when you go. And one might be carpe diem, I seized every day. Or one might be all work, no play. Or one, I don't know, forget the other two. But, the silly ways to get you thinking of how do you see your life, this one wild and precious life.
I'm going to take that. I haven't even taken that. Why didn't you tell me to take that? I should have went to the website and took that.
Oh my gosh, we could just be.
But I could already tell you where I'm going to land. I'm going to land.
I think we are very clear. You're blast off. You're I've never seen anybody as astonishingly alive. This is inspiring, and I can totally tell.
So I feel like we have to, if someone is going, if you caught me on a bad day or a bad week, girl, this is learned behavior, right? It's not, if I take it at the wrong time and I score in the lower right-hand corner, or no, lower left-hand corner, right? Lower left. So I'm in the upper right. If I score in the lower left, I get, there's still hope for me, right? What do I do with that?
No hope. None at all. You should just pretty much call it quits. Yeah, it's
girl, stop.
No, I totally am with you. And you're right. And this is where I get the most excited about all this is that I do think that there's some confusion in even the messaging that I put out, right? Because I use the word astonishingly alive, or that's this idea of live life fully, live your best life. And that sounds like a lot of pressure also, right? Whoa. Do I need to live a life that impresses other people, that looks good on social media? Or are you going to judge my life against someone else's? And oh my goodness. No, I think that most of us are kind of intimately aware of what it takes to light our tiny little fire. And you can light a freaking bonfire. I will not stop you. Go do that. That's great. Passionate flames of fire of love, all the things in your life that light you up. But oftentimes when you're having a just super crap day or week or month, oftentimes it just comes down to what I call, it's just a very simple thing of one small thing. And it's identifying. And I'm actually a big fan of having a list at the ready. Because when we're feeling down and out, we're not super interested in having a fun brainstorm session about how to dig ourselves out of the hole, right? I find having a list of things that might make me feel a little more alive. Or I have even just lists of things that are organized by time. If I have 5 minutes in between things, what can I do that'll actually help me like my life a little bit more? If I have 20 minutes, what can I do? If I've got a weekend, if I'm feeling frisky, what is that going to look like? And so having a list at the ready of things that can be the seemingly most minor thing, they have the opportunity to just change the trajectory of your emotional state of the moment, which, let's be honest, all our lives are just tiny little increments of like 5 minutes at a time stitched together to make a day that makes a life, right? So wouldn't it behoove you in a down and out day, or even in a day that is already good and great, like, I want to make it better. And so I know that we have a choice in between. Let's say you've got 20 minutes in between now and your next meeting, right? Well, other than obviously answering emails, which is like the biggest magnetic attraction and time suck for us productive types, what do you want to do with that time? Do you want to spend it in, or even that's just talking about sneaking it in the day. But what about a Saturday? What if you designed a Saturday morning that might actually be really delightful for you? What would it look like? What would it do? What would it entail? And I know we work with a lot of busy professionals, and they may be parents. And so they're like, honey bunny, I ain't fitting a Saturday morning in. Like, I need like a Saturday hour. Okay, great. Well, then what could you do in 1 hour that would make you feel like you chose to feel alive rather than A, dead, or B, just simply like plugging along? Like, this is the thing that gets me because I get into autopilot in a hurry. I have routines and things that I want to bust that, to be honest, busting your routines is one of the biggest low-hanging fruit secrets out there to live a life that makes you feel more alive. Because the habits are the things that just make us this sort of like mundane zombies, like doing the same thing day in and day out. But what would be an hour that might make you feel like, wow, I love it when I go for a walk, and I love it when I go to that coffee shop and I sit by myself and I doodle on the napkin, and maybe I look at an animal video. I've recently become aware, by the way, Capella, have you ever seen explore.org? I almost feel guilty for telling you about this now, because now you will never be productive again. It's the best website ever. It's like live cams on animals all around the world. It's fabulous. But anyways, that may be your idea of having a fabulous part of your 5-minute increment, whatever it might be. But identify one thing that you might enjoy to do, and don't underestimate that has the power to change your day.
I love it. I love it. So if I'm having one of my bad days and I am not motivated, I can sit in it, right? There's value in sitting in it, right? Like, we're not telling people to just like go, right? And
I'm so glad you asked that. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is so timely, because yesterday there are a bunch of comments that come in on the TEDx talk on YouTube. And every now and then I remember to go in and comment on them, because that's very polite. And one guy made a really great comment. He's like, you know what? Because I talk about living a squander-free life. That's kind of like, I like that expression, because like, I know how to squander. Okay. So, and he made a really great point. He's like, you know what? I think that I like my life when I spend several days or time just fully squandering, because that might help me to pick up and get the steam and juice I need to pick up again. And I was like, rock on, buddy. I so love everything you've said. And I love that clarification, because living an astonishing life is not meant to be go, 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 one carnival to the next, one roller coaster, like living it up to the point where now like you're all coked up and you just need like, no, holy cow. It is about, aside of sometimes I say things, this is what happens.
No one thought it was that, girl.
It was about pacing yourself and understanding. Like, for me, I know that I rejuvenate through the power of Netflix and Hulu and Peacock and all the joys of programmed entertainment. And like, yeah, could I be more productive if I worked all through every evening? Yeah, but then I'd be really horrible the next day. Like, so do what you need to do. Like a really good dose of squandering, like, hallelujah. Just pick the dose that works for you. Because we all have, again, we have the niggling sense when we know, oh, I think I've been squandering too long. Like, we know, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody, I've never met anybody who is actually acutely unaware of the squandering limit, right?
I mean, Jodi, I'm pro squander. And on top of that, I actually think that's part of like enjoying my 4,000 Mondays. Like, to me, squandering, like I want to spend my retirement squandering. Like, I don't know, maybe we have a different definition of squandering, but squandering just means like, fluffing around doing what you want to do.
I want to unpack a little if I could, like, tell me more about a squanderous, lovely, delicious day for Capella in retirement or pre-retirement. Let's not wait till retirement. Tell me about squander.
Yes,
tell me.
Girl, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you. It would be sleep in, right? Because I live on the West Coast, but I pretty much work East Coast hours. So if I wake up at 5:30, I'm already like behind the game. By the time I like shower, get dressed, take my dog for a walk, everybody's all into their day already. So for me, it would be like sleep in to maybe like 8 or 9 Pacific time. And then when I wake up, I might look out the window at the mountains for a while. I might check my Instagram. Yeah. I might text my friends, and then I'll mosey into the kitchen. Or girl, I might take a nap. I'll make phone calls. I'll check the mail. I'll go for a walk. I might go see a psychic. I'll go to the fair and get popcorn, the farmer's market. Like, to me, that's like squandering. Like, but it makes me so happy.
Oh gosh. Okay. Right now, I'm bursting at the seams so hard right now. It's so good. Okay. I'm so glad we discerned this, because your squander right there is, to me, your version of living wider with vitality. And you know what? I'm even going to sneak some meaning in there, because you said you were going to text a friend, and maybe when you like look at the mountain, there's like some kind of like, I don't know, deep contemplation going on in your head, I'm sure.
For sure.
You've got that is your version of living wider with vitality and some depth and meaning there. And that is, you say squander, I say, because the key, you said you'd be happy. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Score. Like, that makes you happy, then we're winning. Like, that's the point. If you have that fills you up. And by the way, like, let's just, if we were to do like a well-being audit to be like really psycho here, we could really analyze that and be like, okay, you got good rest. You had contemplation time. You got activity with walking. You got your social connection. I mean, we could forensically dissect the crap out of this thing. You're living a life worth living, babe. I want in on that. Let's squander away, if that's what squandering means to you.
Okay, well then tell me what squandering means to you. Give me an example.
Yeah, it's that feeling we get when we have not been doing enough of the stuff that makes us feel alive. So picture this, because I think you can probably identify. Because I know your go-go-go-ness is fueling, because I feel that way too a lot, right? When you do get into the go-go-go mode. Picture the life of, I'm going to strip the identity of someone that I was working with yesterday. The whole thing of, I feel like all I'm doing is working. My work is actually no longer that fulfilling because it's not challenging anymore. I come home, I make kind of the same meal. It's not very exciting. I zone out like a zombie in front of the TV. I'm not even watching stuff I'm excited about watching. And then I go to bed. And then I wake up early and I go to work. I do the laundry and I go to, so it's like living like a highly functioning zombie where there really is just a minor interspersement of stuff that actually makes you feel really soul-fillingly good or excited or alive, right? It's the monotony, it's the routine, it's the mundane, it's the ho-hum. I could keep going with similar descriptors, but it's the blah, it's the life ain't happening around here. Other people are living life and I don't think I am. That's the squandering feeling of just all of a sudden the month went by and you're like, what happened? Not that I don't have anything to show for it. Like, you don't need to produce for other people, but that I didn't really do anything that brought me specific joy or that sense of that, like, wow, I love my life. Any semblance of that feeling, that's squander. Does that make some sense?
It does. That makes me sad. Is that a majority of people, do you think? That, and it's almost like you said, a high functioning zombie. It's almost just like living life going through the motions. Almost like life is a rehearsal. Like, this is the rehearsal. The real one is coming later. Like, life is not a rehearsal.
And if that's the rehearsal, I don't want to see the play. Right. That is, going through the motions is the perfect descriptor, Capella, because that is, it's the feeling that makes most people say when I'm in a keynote or workshop or whatever, the feeling of like, I feel like life's passing me by. And which, I mean, yeah, like time speeds up as we age. So that's just going to happen. But that feeling of, I feel like my best years maybe are behind me. gripping heart moment. I feel like, is this all there is? And also that like that yearning feeling of more, and the feeling of, oh, I would love to do that. And oftentimes there's a feeling of, but I can't shake up my life. And we can work through that, because we know you can move, you can change jobs, you can change partners, you can create a new and better version of your life. Like you can do that 17 times over in all your Mondays. You can do this. However, it's all those feelings of that desire and the niggling feeling of wanting more. Another way to put it, I'm going to go back and rankle you, my love, is let's go back to the deathbed, is if you were lying out on your deathbed, and I always like to at least make it feel it's beautiful, it's comfortable, it's a fabulous duvet, you're feeling really quite at peace, and it's painless, it's great, lots of morphine's happening, you're feeling good. But you are able to reflect back and say, like, okay, this is the life I've lived. Oh, look at the highs, look at the lows, that's a life. Are there things in that moment you would get those little pangs of regret that you did or didn't do? And that is also another indication, in a way of, it's like a reverse way of looking at squandering. Like, do you have dreams inside you that you were maybe too afraid to press the go button on? Maybe. Yeah.
So this touches me, and I don't know. This touches me, and because I'm sure there's many people, and of course I have lived like this. This is normal. Your life goes in cycles. It goes in waves. I don't want to say it's normal, but it happens to everybody, I think, where there's a period in your life you're just like, whoa, life has passed me by, or I'm going through the motions, or you don't have anything to look forward to, or you don't have anything that's like really ruffling your feathers and getting you like, eek, But so for that person, like, I don't want anyone feeling like that. And I always bring it back to living with attention and intention, being present and appreciating the moment. But again, like you said, when people are feeling like that, they're really not trying to hear that. But how do we get ourselves out of these ruts? If anyone listening is in that kind of just going through the motions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It reminded me of a quote. I popped this into the TEDx talk. I might screw it up right now. I'm not feeling very confident about it. The difference between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. So there we go. All roads lead back to death with me, honey. So yeah, how to unrut your life? Yeah. Well, I feel the need right now because I'm sensitive to the fact, like, this is life, right? We're going to have ruts. We're going to have squanderous times which I would love to not have judgment. And like, the last thing I want to be is judging anyone's life, because I do enough of judging my own, how much am I squandering or not? You know what? These are the ebbs and flows and natural cycles of life. Yes. So number one, let's just give ourselves permission to have like a whole series of months or years where you're like, that was my building my career year, and I like didn't even like, I kept my, like, I was underwater, but you know what? It served me at the time. Great. No judgment that you didn't have an ounce of fun. What do you want to do about it now? Right? Like, all we have is now, right? Like, what if, like, when is now? Right? Grab life by the balls now. Who cares about what you didn't do or what you squandered?
Yes.
Now, I mean, learn from it, fine. But now is about, well, what's one thing again? What's one thing that I might do to just spark a little bit? And that comes back to, again, it's the simplicity that I often feel a little uncomfortable about, that it gets a little bit scoffed at, right? Like, that's it. But actually, yeah. Like you said a minute ago, what about not having something to look forward to? Well, that sometimes is the easiest. That's not even low-hanging fruit. That's like fruit that already fell on the ground and is like already in your basket, right? That's like, what can I plan in my calendar in the next week that actually makes me feel excited? And like, I know tomorrow we're going to go to a dive bar in town, and I'm so excited about going to this dive. Like, this is this is the life worth living to me, is just looking forward to going to this like crazy dive bar on a Friday night. Great. Now, is that someone else's idea of a good time? No, but that's fine. You do your life. You go. But what do you have to look forward to? That's like one little tiny little, we're just looking for like little momentum boosters. Or don't try and reinvent your own wheel. Like, what did you used to do that brought you joy? So many people I work with we're so busy being professional that we forgot about the fact that, oh, we had hobbies that actually once like gave us a little bit of like excitement in life. Well, what if you cracked open the sketchbook again? Or what if you did go and take that, I don't know, musical instrument in your, I don't know, storage bin and like take it out and give it a crack again, or go try the yoga class again. Like just sign up for one thing. When I do, this is funny, when I do workshops, sometimes they're 2-day things, right? And so day 1, we talk all about ideas. And then by day 2, it is so cool to see people come back and be like, last night in my hotel room or wherever I went, I registered for that thing. And I'm so excited. And I have like a theory, and this is actually based in research about anticipation, which you know full well about people that book a vacation. Most of the joy comes from anticipating the vacation, more so even than going on the vacation, because the vacation has its own set of hassles. But there's just the excitement of looking for booking yourself. Like the husband and I booked ourselves for tennis lessons a year ago. And I felt like $1 billion just because I registered for a tennis lesson. I spent the next week feeling pretty great about myself because I registered. I felt horrible about myself in the lesson because I will always be terrible at tennis, but that's fine. It's just make a move. Like just do one thing that might actually move you towards feeling more like a person who is alive and trying things that might actually give you a shot at some enjoyment rather than just simply going through the motions and letting your life pass you by.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but the bottom line is I agree. You're right. We are the author of these scripts. We are the author of these lives. And that's Jen Beatty quote. That's not me, girl.
It's beautiful. Jen Beatty.
Jen Beatty. So I guess we have like 15 minutes left, and I need to know where this came from, like this obsession with. I mean, I don't know if it's an obsession with death, because it is an obsession with life, but it's two sides of the same coin. What?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I've tried to do some flashbacks, but I look back and I am pretty clear. Like I remember my mom, she died in her 50s. And so that was obviously super crappy. And I remember distinctly in the 80s, she had a couple buttons on her acid wash jacket. Don't judge. It was the 80s. And so one was life's short and then you die. And then the other one was, are we having fun yet? I remember those quirky little buttons back then. And you're like, okay, this is fun and funny. And we'd laugh, ha, ha, ha. But it was a introspective child that was like, life is short and then we die. And then are we having fun yet? Like, oh, we're supposed to be having fun. And so there was some information processing going on there with this idea of maybe we might want to seize the day, but that was dormant. And then mom passes away in her 50s. And it was more the thing about her, not even so much that she died, which was obviously not a good thing at all, but it was that in my perspective, she died with just a litany of regrets, of dreams and goals that she didn't have the confidence to take action on. And it gripped me, right? So when I was cleaning out her apartment, I mean, I already knew about how she was writing manuscripts and she had these business plans and she had a whole ton of things that she just never did she never pulled the trigger. And it highlighted for me the time that I was in a job that I was feeling really itchy in. And I was like, I got to make a move, because not that I will have a heart attack tomorrow, but you never know. And so that was a big impetus. And honestly, I've just been consumed. It's been a lifelong almost amusement with the absurdity of it all, right? That we get roughly 4,000 weeks. And isn't that bizarre? And we're all trying so very hard. And some of us go to school to study how to live the good life because we all just want to make it good. And yet it is temporary. And that absurd nature of it has just been, well, I would say fascinating. And then it just has really warped into let me go and grapple and tinker with the fact that we are in fact finite. Well, I'll just choose the word amusing so as not to rile you up. And then also, well, then how can we catapult that crappy piece of evidence and fact into, again, back to this motivator. So in some way, those have all sort of strung together.
Mm-hmm. I would often sit in, say if I'm a filmmaker, and I do a lot of work in commercials. So say I was at a meeting at an ad agency, right? And maybe there's 7 people sitting around and they're all working on a problem. And I would often look around and be like, what is everyone here for? What is this all for? Nothing matters. We're all going to be gone in a minute. What are we doing here? I would always wonder that, what are we all doing here? Nothing matters. It's so silly to me. But no, I agree the absurdity of it all.
I love it.
And the other thing I wanted to comment is my mom passed young also. Well, she passed at 64. So she had a few more years than her mom. It's very young. And she was actually supposed to start law school. My mom was awesome. She waited tables forever. All we were growing up, my father was a custodian. My mom waited tables at a pizza joint. Now, my mom the whole time was brilliant. My father was brilliant too. Then when we graduated from high school, my mom went back. She got her bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Girl, in educational evaluation, research, and testing, all statistics. And my father went back, got his GED, bachelor's and master's, and they graduated together. So she was teaching, and then she got tired of teaching, and she had tired of the rat race at university level. And so she was like, I just want to retire. I want to open up a law firm. And she was in Detroit. She wanted to open up a law firm and just open up in the community where people could come and get law help and not pay exorbitant amounts. And so she had been accepted in everything, and she was supposed to start law school that fall, and she passed away of a heart attack out of the blue in May, the May before. And so the other day, and I'm sure the same way, when it first happens, the first couple of years, just crying every day, crying. Then in a couple of years, it's a little more relaxed. You might cry only every other day or every 3 days. And then a couple of years, you only cry when someone mentions her. You learn to live with it and deal with it. And so now it's been this May, it's going to be 10 years, which I can't believe.
Wow.
Because sometimes it feels like yesterday, sometimes it feels like 20 years from now. But someone said to me the other day, I'll bring this full circle in a minute, girl. I go way off, but I come back, girl. I come back. So
I love it. Yeah.
Someone said to me, because they knew I was out here in LA and I just moved out here out of the blue, and I'm enjoying the mountains and the sunshine and making friends and just living it up, living the dream, literally. And someone said, you're living your mom's dreams. And for some reason that messed me up, in a good way, but that messed me up.
Yeah.
To think that my mom had dreams that she didn't fulfill. And so that is, you're talking to your mom, it's one thing to deal with the loss of your mom, and especially so young, but it's another to deal with someone that you love so much that you don't feel lived a fulfilled life. That's just next level stuff.
Yes. I'm so glad you shared that. And I am, that does sound like a really riveting experience. I love, by the way, your parents' story and the idea that you're living your mom's dream in a way. I mean, that's powerful. That's just this idea of, I guess they call it ripples, rippling about impact and memory of people. And that's, I think, some of the spirit of grief is a very complicated animal when it gets into the discussion I talk about, right? Because I think that there was too much of a leap to go from grieving a loved one to, well, then buckle up and live your best life. Whoa. I respect that there's just a whole lot of emotional, there's a lot going on. And yet, especially with time to process, it can be something that allows us to reflect. And like I said earlier in our conversation, maybe be more of that kind of concrete reflection about our finitude rather than that abstractness of just the idea, 1,890 Mondays left, whatever, move on. So I think that there can be some poignancy there that can be valuable, right? And it sounds to me like you're making stuff happen. You're in the astonishingly life category, and I see, not that you need to be there every day, but is it a coincidence that you're continuing your education? Is that inspired by your parents?
I wrote that in my essay because it never did. My best friend went back for his PhD. A lot of people in my life went back to school, and I was just ripping and running as a film producer. And I was never good at school anyways, Jodi. I was a straight C student in Detroit public schools. And I wouldn't say it was too tough there. But I mean, I was a straight C student, Detroit Public School. So I wanted to go to Michigan. I didn't get in right away. So I ended up like going to community college. Then I got into Michigan. Same thing with Penn. I didn't get into MAP the first time I applied. It was a second time I applied. So I get to where I'm going, but it's just a slower process. But school has never been my thing ever. And it wasn't till Penn and MAP in that whole community that I just like really fell back in love with school. It's really fascinating. But I wrote that in my entrance essay, like, trust me, this is not me. This was never supposed to be me. It's only because of this. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is super inspiring. And the fact you like, what a model of tenacity too, of like, no, I want this. I'm going to apply again. I want this. I'm going to find my way. You find your way.
So we were talking though about what the impetus of this was. And you said finding these manuscripts and these plans or these diaries, journals, everything you found your mom wrote. And you realized that her life may not have been, and as kids, we don't notice that, right? I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we don't. And as an adult, it was super clear to me that she was, I feel bad saying this about her. I feel like but I mean it with love, like what I call now in the coaching world, playing it small, right? And I feel fear saying it because I know it's my tendency too. The difference about like playing to win versus playing not to lose. I've always been fascinated by that because many of us play not to lose because it's super safe, right? I'm just gonna do enough, but I'm gonna get by. And or a lot of people at work, right? I just want to stay under the radar, or in life, I'm just gonna do enough to do. And that is a different code word for me in a way of squandering. It's like, well, what if you tried to play to win? What if you did take a risk? What might that be like? For my mom, what if you did try and send a manuscript out to get published? What might that be like? A whole lot of things, a whole lot of emotions, none of which, you're in control of necessarily, but really good stuff could come from it. And so there's part of the spirit of that too, is that idea about let's play to win. Like let's actually play. Let's not be on the sidelines of our lives, to get back to some metaphors.
Okay. So Jodi, I don't know your family life. I don't know if you have kids or if you have nieces, nephews, best friends. Let's just play a simulation because this is your area. What is someone going to go in your office and see? Like when you're gone.
What are they going to, like literally, what are they going to see in my office?
Yeah, like are they going to see like finished or published books or what are we going to see when we go in Jodi's office when it's all said and done?
Oh, so you mean when I've kicked the bucket?
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, okay, good. I thought you meant today. I was like, well, I can walk you through. No, you mean when that happens, right?
Yes.
Well, I love that question. I sincerely hope that if all works, that someone will come in and see books. I'm a book person. I'm looking behind you. High five you, you fellow book person, you. I want there to be some written word. And maybe there's this thing in existential psychology called like an immortality project. We embark on these things that might help us to feel like we can endure and live on even when we are all cremated and such. Maybe the books are something that I feel like I will have that will go on beyond me. I hope I have books that help to discuss this and inspire. I hope that in my office, I also have a lot of things that make people laugh. I hope that I have a lot of things that people are going to want to ransack and take. Not because they're super valuable, but just because they're cool. Like, I have a lot of skulls here that I've painted fuchsia. I hope somebody wants fuchsia skulls. But yeah, I would say the thing that they would see would be books. I hope that when they look in my laptop, and I have a file, which is I call it my anti-chicken list, is that they look at the list and they don't go, oh, I never saw that. Oh, you never wrote that. Oh, you never did. I hope that they are like, check, check, check. Oh, you did that. That sucked, but you gave it a go. Good for you. Check. Or maybe like half check. I hope that that is the experience of somebody if they were to go through my laptop too.
I love it. I think that's perfect. I think that's good. I mean, so we're nearing the end. I have to ask you. So we're going to put all your information. We're going to put your TED Talk up, your Instagram. Well, your Instagram handle's up. That's 4,000 Mondays. We'll put LinkedIn, everything up. But what is like the last thing that we should walk away, if nothing else?
If nothing else, man, my encouragement, and this may be more to you personally, now that I know that this is not your favorite subject.
I didn't say
it is.
I didn't say it wasn't my favorite. I like it. You're so in the camera, girl. You're freaking me out. No, it's not that this isn't my favorite subject. It's just that I'll say it's interesting. Go ahead, please. Well, okay, it's not my favorite subject.
You are very diplomatic. I really respect you so much for how you were handling this awkwardness of it. You're like many people, right? Like it's like, really? To countdown? My final thing is, be not afraid of the Grim Reaper. Like, take him by his bony hand and be his buddy and be like, let's walk. Actually, keep a slight distance from that guy. You cannot trust him. He's slippery. But just keep a nice, neutral, healthy distance relationship from that man, because he has a lot to teach us about getting on with living livelier versions of our lives that we would be proud to look back on from our eventual deathbeds.
I mean, I like the message. You're basically telling us, you're talking about death to make us live. I'm right here with you, girl. I'm right here with you. It's a hard pill to swallow, but we are all going to have to swallow it. And so, yeah, I like that we're talking about it. I appreciate it, Jodi. And it was as exciting and full of life as our emails and our texts.
And if we could do emojis right now, I would give you the wink and the skull emoji. Yeah.
And you, girl, don't give it you know what I would give you? I'd give you the birthday with the kazoo or whatever that is, with the birthday hat. The celebration. The celebration. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Jodi. I'll check out our TED Talk if you can hear more and more and more. It's just interesting perspective. And I appreciate you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
So, I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you have a similar reaction as I did sometimes? I don't think I hid my reactions too well. I did go to her website and I took the vitality test. I do recommend it. It's fun. It's easy, simple. I have to be honest, you guys, I'm not 1,000% there yet. I don't know whether I'm ready to face how many Mondays I have left, and that's hopefully, but it was a wake-up call for sure. I think she has a healthy approach to it. I am working on it. Let's just say that. It is interesting to me. I'm working on it, but I do agree with her. She is absolutely right. We are here for a finite amount of time. We don't know what it is. It could be one day. It could be 50 more years. Bottom line is, all we have is now. We have this moment, and so we're going to enjoy it. And with that, I want to thank you guys for spending your moments with us. I definitely want to thank Jodi, the number 14th ranked TEDx Most Watched Talk of 2022. Congratulations, girl. If you enjoyed this, please share it. Rate it, leave a review, go to our social media, When Is Now Podcast. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I want to thank my podcast producer, Jared Redding, and of course, as always, the music is by Contavious Jones. I can't say enough about his album, Bohemian Beatbox. I highly recommend it. So thank you guys for listening. Please continue, share it, and you can always DM us on Instagram if there's something specific you want to talk about. But thank you. Bye.